Good day, friends, morning, afternoon, whenever you're watching this video. And I want to talk a little bit about possibly some activities you're already doing to help not only enhance and basically some of the building blocks of your eating disorder recovery, but also build your capacity and resiliency. And we all would love to have more of that, right? So let's just get started. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Tracy, and I am a non-diet dietitian who also provides support for those struggling with eating disorders and stress-related conditions. And most people who fit in those categories tend to have trauma. And so as trauma-informed dietitians, we try to provide a container and a space where you can feel safer in your own skin as you're working through these issues. So sorry about the long intro, but just many people are newish, or maybe you're kind of curious about how all that fits together. So there's an example for you. So in building capacity and resiliency, I got a few notes here. Usually I don't have notes, but I had a few more things I wanted to speak on today. So in building capacity and resiliency with your literal food and, let's say, health enhancing behaviors, we need a mix of a couple things. We need both activities that challenge our nervous system a little bit and challenge some of our maybe inertia. And then we need some anchors. And so the anchors are always obviously things that are going to provide some safety. So I'll start with those first. So anchors are anything that really, again, helps build your foundation, helps build a foundation of honestly something your system can rely on that is not causing any harm. Okay, so it's really important that we're talking about here not causing harm, all right? And or at least to the very best of our ability, that's the case, right? So let me talk to you about a few anchors. It would be something as we all know, and some of these things are going to be so, you already know this and you're working on it, that's no problem. But if you're having some barriers to any of these, put them in the comments below. We'll talk it through, or I'll try to give some examples as I speak on it. So something that's a reliable, something that's an anchor in your day-to-day life would be something like a consistent going to bed and getting up time. And I know that might sound a little boring, but your body starts to get a rhythm, and rhythms bring some comfort. So we don't want obsessions and compulsions that are a false comfort. We want rhythms in life that provide some comfort and some internal stability. So consistent bedtime and awake time. And I think that's really personal. I think you've got to figure that out for yourself. And all that means is you try it. You try it out and see how you feel. All right. So we also have something again with regular meal and snack times. It's so important. I know that's one of the hardest things in recovery, because the adaptive strategies are always working in the mind, saying like, you'll be fine, you can get by. Things aren't as bad as they used to be. You don't need to be that consistent anymore. Oh, everybody else can just go with the flow, or kind of just go about their day and hope for the best with their eating. That doesn't build safety. That just builds another level of some hypervigilance for already traumatized, stressed out system around food and body and around health concerns. So if you want to build an anchor of some safety, one of the most important things you can do is eat regular meals and snacks. Don't put it off. Eat within a couple hours, at the maximum, at the very maximum. If you wake up at 7 o'clock, don't wait past 9 o'clock. I prefer people eat within the first hour they get up. Again, we're building some rhythm. We're getting some stuff done. You're teaching your body that you're going to respond to body cues. And yes, it will make you hungrier sooner. And that's a good thing, because we want to get the body healed. All right. And another thing I think is so important, I see a very marked difference in people who have this in place versus those who don't. And if you're working on it, kudos to you. Keep working on it. Is boundaries with technology. I'm sorry, but these little black boxes here, whether big or little ones, I think we have to recognize it on a day-to-day basis. Like, little doses are fine, but if this is the majority of how we do our life on these devices, I've just seen it impact people negatively, physically, mentally, emotionally, even spiritually. the more of their life they live on these. So I think it's really important that you get the support you need. And, you know, of course, I almost all do telehealth. So that's just, you know, how it is. So I spend a lot of time on it. But I do spend a lot of time outside of sessions with people outdoors, just trying to like gather the balance the best way I can. So it's not perfect, you know. I spend most of my time on these, but it's very, very intentional. So that's the point to make with that is technology needs to be extremely intentional. All right, so those are some anchors. So what I said again is regular bedtime and waking up time, regular meals and snacks, and boundaries with technology. If you can do these three things, I think you'll start to see a marked difference in some safety internally being built. I would say the other thing, honestly, is having, you know, some people, whatever it is, whether it's nature, pets, of course, and ideally safe people, that you have a relationship as well. And I know that's a situation where no one person can promise another person zero harm ever, but we are trying to be as intentional relationally with each other as possible. So I think it's really important that you're around safe people as well. So those are some anchors. Why are anchors important? Well, we talk about rhythm. It provides some rhythm. So when I'm talking rhythm, I mean all of it, like hormonally, you know, especially as we age, let's get those hormone systems in as much rhythm and balance as we can, because how you go into your middle and latter years has a lot to do with these like earlier or just now time. If you're trying to be really, really serious about creating safe anchors in your life, this is a good time to be doing this no matter when you're watching this video. But hormonal rhythm feels better just to like have some stability in how you feel. And if you're having struggles with that more deeply, there's more probably imbalance that needs to be looked at, but that's okay. That can be worked through. You know, gut issues, like it's nice to have regular bowel patterns as well. It's just one less thing you've got to have focus and attention on if that's possible. And of course, having a safe, you know, we learn, this is what's the why of this, is learning happens in a more regulated, relatively safe enough situation, right? I want people to be able to take the information they learn online and apply it. But oftentimes we get, because if there's too much chaos in our system, too much hypervigilance, too much shutdown, we tend not to be able to process and take action on the things we learn anyway. So that's why these anchors are so important. We're just going to learn better with more safety on board. All right. So we need these anchors. That's, you know, I think that's a good place to start. But without challenge, I mean, humans have to have challenge to grow and to build that the whole thing about capacity is growing your window tolerance. And we're not growing our window tolerance to be better at welcoming more stress in our lives as we grow our window of tolerance or grow our capacity, so that when things happen, again, we can be intentional about how we handle it. And if you get more capacity, doesn't mean you add more option, more stuff into your life. I'd rather people's lives be much slower, including myself, to be honest. I'm always looking to encourage people to be more intentional and slower. All right. And then when you need to speed it up, you can, but it's not a constant lifestyle. That's not, it's not good for your, you know, not just your nervous system, but all your organ systems and your mind and your heart as well. So let's talk about challenge. What provides challenge? And the word is going to be diversity. Meaning variety of food, you know, what you choose, you know, mixing up your sides in your meals, looking at new recipes. And also this includes eating out. So eat out just to learn, just by what you're eating. Oh, there's a different cooking technique in that. I wonder if I could do that. These are really important life skills that we need to be learning. Movement variety as well. So let's say that you love walking. Well, every once in a while, you know, pick a new walking spot. That's good for your brain to expand its capacity to navigate new circumstances. Different terrain, great for your nervous system has to adjust. Of course, now you're talking about the physical benefits of movement. But in general, say yes to new activities. If someone says, hey, you want to go to this badminton night here at the community center, go do it. Doesn't matter if you're good at it or not. Again, this goes to like new hobbies. Even if you're not good at it, even if you never do it again after the first try, it's really good to try new things, read new kinds of books. If all your reading is recovery related, I mean, I commend you. That tells me a lot about you and your desire. Like, I want to learn all the things and try to do the best I can and get after it. I commend that. And sometimes what we need to do is actually have just some more diversity for our mind and have some more reading pleasure, let's say, or different flavors or different, scenery. And all that being said, take a day trip. Visit a new park, go to a national park near you, botanical gardens, bird watching, do some stuff, do something different. That's really important because not only does it break up the routine that sometimes the eating disorder can set into even the good things you're doing and make you rigid about that. This helps prevent that. Okay. So why is this important? Why are challenging new foods, eating out, being with people, variety of movement, variety of activities? Why is that important? Neuroplasticity. We want to build new neural pathways. I want you to have more experiences where you have learned to adapt and teaches you great skills. Again, this all grows your capacity and resiliency. From a food perspective, the bigger variety of food you eat, you can get some more microbiome diversity as well, and that's great for your gut health and probably your brain health as well. So this is why having both anchors and challenges and doing both and have a balance of both, it makes the recovery process a lot more interesting, a lot more life affirming, and you're going to feel like you're actually like living your life again instead of being in this like, okay, my whole life is recovery, or over here it's like, well, I'll just wait for the feelings to happen and then I'll do something different, or I'll wait for somebody to tell me how bad it is, or it gets us out of those extremes and gets us into reality, a reality of like all humans need both safe anchors and they need challenge to grow. So I hope this video was helpful just to kind of take an inventory again of your life. Be really honest with yourself about maybe you're doing a really good job with your anchors, but everything's the same day in and day out. And I got to tell you that probably the thing that catapulted me out of OCD-ish stuff with food was purposely having as many differing, had a meal plan and as many differing meals and snacks as I possibly could. I couldn't rely on this more stale, honestly. Neural pathway in my brain that's like, if I do this, then I'll feel this and then I can be okay. That's false comfort, false safety. And I had to break free from that. So that means I had to learn to trust. And how you want body trust, try different foods and learn what happens. And you start to learn so much of the structure of all the fake and false like food rules really start to crumble, because it's like, this is what I thought was the most healthy or the safest. And then I did this, which is this food, and it's a very similar component here or composition. And I felt slightly different, but not that much different. And it was actually worked kind of pretty well in this kind of situation too. And my brain just expanded so much around food and how it works. And I could read stuff and I could hear stuff from people, but my neurobiology in my brain did not change until I started eating a diversity of food. I mean, it was incredible, So again, that's really, really helpful, but there also has to be a will in there to I want to be that person. I want to be the person that can just eat a variety of food and see what works and what doesn't and leave the rest. That's a quality I wanted to embody. I wanted to have that, so I knew I had to practice it. I didn't want food to be my safety anymore. So that's important too, that you're at that place of readiness. That intervention is most likely to land when you're like, that's what I want. If other parts of you are stronger inside at that point, then maybe there's some more work to do with what's the function of wanting to keep the false safety. So Anyway, I hope this video was helpful. I know it's a little longer than usual, but I wanted just, again, you guys to have an opportunity to continue to test yourself, continue to examine yourself of where you're at in the process and what needs to be worked on, because a lot of times what people do is they'll get some progress and they just stop because they feel better. I need you all to be shooting for, like, in your mind, regardless of how long it takes, that full recovery is possible. I know that's controversial, but that's just what I believe. I don't think people are born this way. I know bad, hard things really happen. And for some of us, it takes a lot longer than we would like or that we expect. But it's there. It's there for people. And it's just one step at a time. So thank you so much for watching. If you need help with some of these tools, these skill building, please reach out to us. And I'll put that link below to do so. So thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.